The main thing is you have to go and vote and all that. But if you don't vote for me, don't go and vote. You know, I'd like to. It's a nice thing to say. You have to go vote. You ever hear these politicians? Doesn't matter who you're voting for, but you must go out and vote. I don't feel that way. But just go and vote if you're going to vote for me.
When a certain presidential candidate is leading opponents by more than a 2-to-1 margin in some places, when that candidate's coming to your home state holding that big lead, and you're talked about in some circles as a potential vice presidential candidate, maybe something greater down the road, would you consider it wise to, in essence, spit right in the face of that candidate? Apparently, the idea does not bother South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley one bit. Let us then spit in the eye of conventional bull hockey when it comes to politics. Unleash the political animal with a timid fear to tread. Pleasure to welcome back first attorney, military war veteran, prolific author and staff writer at the National Review, David French. Second, veteran journalist for print and the electronic media, meaning like so many of us who've done that, we're all destined for therapy. Now writer at the Federalist, D.C. McAllister. I want to thank you both for joining us. David, let me start with you. Nikki Haley says, I'll go for anybody, but I would never back Donald Trump. Then today she comes out and she says, okay, I'm going to back Marco Rubio. She's already said before, indicated that she didn't like Donald Trump in the first place, but was this a smart move by her?
Well, I think it's a necessary move if she wants to be part of the solution of the problem of Donald Trump. I mean, we're reaching this point where people are going to have to either take on Donald Trump directly or they're just going to have to get used to losing to Donald Trump. So I think actually coming out and endorsing someone, putting them out there as their preferred candidate, in other words, actually running a real race instead of sort of hoping that Donald Trump goes away, I'm glad to see it. In fact, one thing that's been bothering me this entire race is how much people are shying away from taking on Trump directly. Well, now the battle's engaged.
D.C., do you see Nikki Haley as a person? She has a very high national profile. Do you see her as the one that maybe can start some sort of a trend, if you will, here, get others in power, governors and others, to get behind her and basically walk away from Donald Trump?
Well, I don't necessarily agree that people aren't taking on Donald Trump directly. Other candidates certainly have, and they've fallen by the wayside for doing it, and we don't like that, but it's happened. And the only thing that Nikki Haley has really done here is she will not make a dent in the supporters for Donald Trump, because the people who are supporting Donald Trump in South Carolina don't really like Nikki Haley for a lot of obvious reasons. And so she aligned herself with the more establishment type candidates. So she's already ousted herself from Ted Cruz supporters and Donald Trump supporters, the more outsider candidates. And so she's aligned herself more with DC in this. And, you know, that's not going to help her if Cruz or Trump gets into the office. But, you know, it's also not going to help in this election. All this is going to do is split the votes between Cruz and Rubio more, and that's going to weaken the affront against Donald Trump, who will gain more votes, or at least maintain his votes while the other two split.
Let's talk about something else that is very interesting as we get closer to the primaries on Saturday. Lying in South Carolina. On the campaign trail in SC today, Ted Cruz fired back at Donald Trump. Trump threatened a lawsuit over a campaign TV ad saying Trump was a pro-choice supporter. Here was Cruz.
It's a bizarre thing when you tell the truth. So I just held a press conference because Donald Trump is threatening to sue me because our TV ad about the Supreme Court shows footage of Donald saying he is very, very pro-choice in every respect, and he supports partial birth abortion. And his lawyer yesterday sent me a letter saying that's defamation to tell the voters what I actually said and believe.
D.C., we got to start here and ask, what are the voters going to believe and who do they believe? Lies are endemic in politics. Ted Cruz put out a 5.5-minute video where he said Planned Parenthood named Donald Trump their favorite Republican last fall. It's not true. Planned Parenthood said, we've never said that or even close to saying that. Donald Trump said, I'm the only one on the stage, on the debates, who said, don't go into Iraq, don't attack Iraq. There is no established record anywhere. Research and searches everywhere that indicate that Donald Trump at any time called against the invasion of Iraq before it happened. D.C., how in the name of God are people supposed to cut through all this and make a real decision?
I think people are used to this with politics. I mean, Donald Trump, he's trying to play according to business rules. These are political rules. This is the way it happens. You're just going to have to deal with it. And, you know, you can threaten frivolous lawsuits all you want. And Ted Cruz says, bring it on. You know, this is politics. And if you bring on a lawsuit, I'll take it. But, you know, as far as the voters, they're used to this. They're used to this in South Carolina, which is why they're really aligning more with personalities, some with ideology, some with just their principles, and they're going to stick to it. These kind of things I don't think are going to faze them.
David, there it is. D.C. hit it. Personalities is what we're talking about here. I can go on and I can come up with reams of paper. You can, D.C. can, everybody can. Every candidate has lied, maybe except for Ben Carson, but it doesn't make a difference. They're voting for personalities here, and maybe that's what everybody needs to get through their heads here if you're going to attack Donald Trump. It's not about the facts. It's about personality.
Well, everyone knew this was going to happen in South Carolina. I mean, this is a place known for bare knuckle politics, and by bare knuckle politics, I mean unethical, weaselly, low down politics. And it's not disappointing. It's living up to its reputation, or living down to its reputation. Look, we're in a personality driven era. Donald Trump is a megawatt celebrity who's risen to the top on the basis of a personality that says, I'm not going to back down from anybody. And so I think that Ted Cruz, he's going back a little bit to the Iowa playbook when he finally took on Donald Trump instead of pretending that we were great friends like he did for a while. And I think it can work. But going back to something I said earlier, until these other candidates stop spending millions of dollars obliterating each other, the prime beneficiary is still going to be Trump. I mean, in Iowa, Bush spent $12 million attacking Rubio and $250,000 attacking Trump.
I only got 5 seconds for each of you. Trump leads big in South Carolina. Cruz and Rubio are close. Quick answer, David French. Who do you think goes second place in South Carolina?
I'm going to go that the Haley endorsement will at least put Rubio into a close second over Cruz.
D.C., quick answer.
I think it's going to be Cruz because he has the ground game. Definitely.
D.C. McAllister, David French, always a pleasure to have you both on the show. Thanks so much for being here. Stay with us. The Hardline continues.